Hi guys, welcome to Moving On TV and the Holistic Show. You're just about to watch a really exciting interview with Kathleen Milner about her healing therapies and the books that she's written. So sit down, have a nice cup of tea, and welcome to the Holistic Show. So hi Kathleen, and welcome to Moving On TV. It's really good to have you here.
Thank you again.
Today we're going to talk about the healing that you do because you're a healer, and I just want to explain to my viewers how you became a healer, because something happened, you had some experiences and you became a healer. So would you like to tell us a little bit about it?
Well, I was actually born with healing and psychic abilities, but I was born long enough ago that my parents did not approve of a child who could talk to angels. And so gradually over the years, I just shut down. These abilities shut down. But occasionally something would happen, only it would be like full blown. And after I got married, there was one day that I looked in the mirror and I thought, I am exactly who and what my parents and my husband at the time wanted me to be. And they still don't like me. And it wasn't long after that that I got a divorce. And that's when I prayed to God that I wanted the abilities that I had as a child to come back. And so it started with prayer. And slowly they did come back. And then I was guided to take different classes. And one of the classes that I was guided to take was Reiki. I went to a demonstration by Helen Borth, and I could see that healing was actually taking place. And so I took the class, but the thing of it was that I could do more healings before I took the class than after I took the class. And I asked why. And that's something that is a good thing when you're involved with spirits and angels, is to keep asking questions. Why? Are you in divine truth? All the questions. We get to ask those, and God wants us to ask those questions. And it took a while before God answered me. During the Reiki 2 initiation, they only initiated one hand, and I got to choose which hand, and it just did not feel right. I mean, why not both hands? It didn't make any sense. And when the initiation was over, I looked up and I said, where's the rest of the initiation? And these initiations, these Reiki initiations, were brought. This is what Takata's story was, that she went to Japan. She received these initiations from a Buddhist monk who was a descendant of Dr. Sui. And I was guided to take other classes too. I took shaman classes, and I found out that this is the way that I worked with angels when I was younger. I didn't draw symbols. I didn't place my hands on any way. I closed my eyes and I watched the angels work.
Okay.
So I learned about that, and I don't know how this happened, but I was invited to speak and do a workshop at the Whole Life Expo in New York. This was in the early 1900s. 1900s, 1990s. I'm not that old.
Okay. That makes you a very old lady.
So I went to the workshop was, the lecture was packed, and then the workshop was packed. And then I found out, which I should have gotten money from, a percentage of the money from the workshop. But a friend of mine told me that they declare bankruptcy and after each Whole Life Expo. So then they called me and they asked me if I would like to speak and do a workshop in Los Angeles. But I was one step ahead of them because I knew, and they wanted to give me a booth in exchange for doing all this. But I'm one step ahead of them because I know that it's either the booth or nothing, because they're going to declare bankruptcy. So I took the booth, and it was a big table, and I hadn't written any books. So I recorded a meditation that I used to give when I would do classes. Matter of fact, there was a meditation on each side. So on this big table, all I had were these, a couple of stacks of audio tapes. And then somebody came along, and I was doing healing demonstrations, and I do them, and I still do them on a donations are accepted basis. And one man came up, and he wanted a healing, and then he went off and talked to his wife. She came, I did a healing on her, and they asked me to come back to LA and do a class at their house. So, then they put up a sign-up sheet. So now I've got the audio tapes and a sign-up sheet. And a lot of people were impressed. A lot of people signed up. So I was able to give the sign-up sheet to the man who was setting up the classes. And then I went to Marcy Miller. My friend Marcy Miller was renting a room in this ashram, which was really a Los Angeles home, a one-story Los Angeles home. And before I went to her home, Reiki masters would come up to me, and they would say, "We know you can heal, but did you know that none of us can heal in the manner that Takata did?" And there are written, documented testimonials of her doing actual healings, and even one of her raising the dead.
Okay, sorry to stop you there. Can you explain a little bit about Takata?
Well, Takata, like I said, she was a Japanese American. And after World War II, her claim was that she went to Japan and brought back this healing method from Japan called Reiki. It came from a man named Dr. Usui, who had been a Buddhist monk. He went to the University of Chicago and got a doctorate of theology. But there are several problems with her story, is that the University of Chicago has no record of anyone named Mikao Usui, Dr. Usui, anyone like that, even attending a class, let alone graduating. And the monastery where he was supposed to have been a monk in Japan has no record of him even visiting.
Right, that's interesting.
So what I learned just a couple of years ago, because I had this consciousness raising experience with Buddha when I was in this monastery with Marcy. And Buddha will come to me every now and then. And he'll tell me something new, or bring the healing energies of Tiramai up. And what he told me a couple of years ago was that Takata did not get this in Japan, that she had a consciousness raising experience with Buddha in Hawaii.
Right. So you channel Buddha. You channel the spirit of Buddha. I
channel that photo that I sent you with the light coming down into my chin.
Yeah.
Head and into my heart. I channel healing energies from God. And
right.
Every now and then, my consciousness will shift, and I'll connect with Buddha. And one ascended master, told me that, I don't think they call them ascended masters when they're in body, but someone who is very high up told me that it is possible for an ascended being to connect with a person. And when they do that, they stay with that person for the rest of that person's life, unless something really dramatic happens, that they, shift from light to dark, that can break the chain.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how I connect with Buddha.
Okay. So when you talk about the healing experience of the light that came down, did that make the healing more powerful that you were able to give people? Did you feel that that's when there was a shift in your healing?
Well, the healing energy has always been there, but it really subsided, thanks to my parents. You get put down enough, you're scolded enough, things go away. So it was always there. But after I started this journey, it started to increase. When I feel the healing energy, like when I've got my hands on somebody, I can feel my hands. I can feel the energy running through me and into my hands. And then when healing miracles happen, or spontaneous healings happen, like I was in New Jersey and doing healing demonstrations. And there was a young girl named Audrey whose grandmother wanted me to do a healing on her. And Audrey had all kinds of heart surgeries. And when I put my hand on her heart, I have never felt this before in my life. Instead of a nice steady heartbeat, I could actually feel the stress in the heart and the raggedness of the beat. And as I'm doing that, I can feel the goddess aspect. Now, there is one God, but God has both a feminine and a masculine aspect. If God didn't have a feminine aspect, you and I wouldn't be here.
Sure.
So we're created in God's image.
Plus and minus, yes.
Exactly. So it's the feminine aspect of God that heals. And when the miracles happen, my heart chakra just opens up. It feels like it's as big as the room.
Okay.
And tears come to my eyes. And Audrey turned and she looked at me. She was crying. Her mother and the audience were crying. So there is this tremendous healing that comes forth. And her heart became normal.
Wow, that's very exciting. Okay, so that's one of the examples. I mean, we've got loads of people, myself included, that are walking around with conditions that doctors can't figure out anymore. There's so many conditions going around, particularly people that are very sensitive. I've got lots and lots of symptoms now. So how would you heal people like that? Have you had people that come to you where there's absolutely nothing that they can't determine? It's not like a serious disease like cancer, but the symptoms are really strong. Do you get people like that coming to you that have given up on doctors basically and just don't know what to do anymore?
Well, mostly I get people whom the doctors have given up on.
Right. Okay. So people with like terminal cancers, things like that, would you say as well?
Right. And there is one testimonial on KathleenAnnMilner.com where Jennifer Gargan has talked about coming to me one time. She had cancer. And during the healing, she felt the cancer had gone. And she went back to her doctor. They looked at the tests, and the cancer was gone.
That's incredible.
So what I do, like with someone like you, I could tune in, and I don't do medical diagnosis. Matter of fact, most of the time, what the angels show me, they show me metaphors of things that are happening. So if I tune into you, I close my eyes. And I ask the angels to bring the light in, so I'm going to call upon the angels. I call upon God the Father Almighty, the Divine God, the Divine Goddess, the Holy Spirit, and the Holy Spirit I am. And through you, I call upon your great archangels, Sariel, 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 Sarakiel, 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 Gabriel, 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 Michael, 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 Raphael, 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 Zadkiel, 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 Amiel, 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 Daniel, 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 Israel, 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 Jophael, 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 Camuel, 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 Raguel, 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 Ramael, 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 Ariel, 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 Uriel, 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 Pathael, 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 Barakael, 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 Azrael, 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 Raziel, 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 Gadiel, 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 Gamaliel, Gamaliel, Gamaliel. Lauren, take a deep breath and exhale. And your listeners, when they watch this, they will most likely get a healing as well. What I'm seeing is the light coming in and just darkness coming up. And I'm going to keep calling the angels in. Gamaliel, Gamaliel, Gamaliel. Ezekiel, Ezekiel, Ezekiel. Ishmael, Ishmael, Ishmael. Emmanuel, Emmanuel, Emmanuel. Okay, Lauren, can you feel that light coming into your crown?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And it's coming through your body. It's in your head. It's coming down to your neck and chest. Take a deep breath and exhale. So it's kind of like in architecture, in building, they have to prepare the ground. You know, the ground has to be level before they can put a building on it.
Mhm.
So with healing, you know, the darkness has to come off. First the clearing, and then the healing can come in. And since I'm not there to do this, please place your right hand on your left shoulder. And I want you to work down your arm and just kind of twist down your arm and pull down all the way down to the fingertips, and then pull off your fingertips and throw this stuff down. Do it again, starting at the shoulder and working all the way down the arm. Good girl. Good girl. Keep going. And pull out your fingertips and throw it down. Click your fingers, throw the stuff down like you're throwing it down to the central fire. And third time is the charm. Start again. And work down your arm. And your viewers can do this as well. All the way down to the fingertips. Take a deep breath. Exhale and throw it down. Sending it down to the fire. Good job. Good job. Okay, now tune into both of your arms. Is there a difference between your left and your right arm?
There's always a difference between my left and right, yeah.
Okay, what's happening? What's different between your left arm right now?
Oh, you mean at the moment?
Yes.
My left is tingling. Feels a lot more tingly and like there's a light around it.
Okay, now take your left hand and put it on your right shoulder and do the same thing. Work down your right arm all the way down to the fingertips. Pull the stuff out and send it down to the Earth's central fire. Okay, again, all the way down. People at home do this as well. All the way down to the fingertips, pull it off and send it down. Again.
Everyone can be doing this with me.
Exactly, exactly.
No, I look like I've changed my color because I've gone so dark. There's not light in here.
The light's behind you. Okay,
Yeah.
how does your right arm feel now?
Yeah, tingly.
Tingly as well? Okay, let me ask the angels to bring more light, more heavenly gold, diamond white light, diamond silverly light into your crown and through your body. And let's see, at your heart chakra, let's get this off of your heart chakra. Angels, cut these cords. Take a deep breath, Lauren, and exhale. And feel that coming off. Did you feel that pull coming off? Or do you feel clearer now? Okay, now the back heart chakra, angels grease this up.
Feel a lot lighter.
Do you feel sometimes like you've got a strap around you? Okay, let's get this.
Talking like that, I have a massive blockage in my throat, and I'm a singer. It's not good. Absolutely.
No, that's not. Let me get this thing off of your heart first, because you also sing with your heart.
Yeah, and
Okay,
as well. I've had a lot of grief.
Okay, take a deep breath.
Where a lot is stuck at the moment.
And exhale. People at home do this as well. Do you have problems with your left shoulder?
Terrible. Left shoulder, neck. Yeah, very bad. Yeah.
Okay, but mostly your left shoulder as opposed to your right. Okay,
Yeah.
let's go in. All right, angels, bring in quick white angelic grease lightning, cleanse the angelic showers, the energies of the blue stars, lift this up. Also the side of your left neck, is that true?
Yes.
Okay, let's get this thing off of her.
The whole of the left, yeah, it's very bad. Especially when I lie down at night. Nose, really bad nausea.
I have something called mirror touch synesthesia, and they've just named it. It's always been around, but that means that I can feel, when I'm working on somebody, I can feel in my body what's going on with you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel everything. Okay, take a deep breath and exhale. Everybody at home, do this as well. If you have another place in your body that's hurting, focus on that and breathe the light into it and exhale this. And let's get this thing off your throat. And around the throat, it's often fear.
Yeah.
So let your fears come up, all your fears, let them come up and exhale them. Give them away to the end.
So anyway, that was really powerful. And I do feel, a lot more flexibility in my body, I must admit.
Let's get rid of some of these blockages that you were telling me about.
Yeah.
All right?
You have people, I want to make this generic because a lot of people are going through so much now.
Right.
People have money blocks. People feel there's a lot of chaos going on in our world. It's like people are talking about the ascension and loads of symptoms, and people are not being treated very respectfully. People are not getting back to them. And so there's a lot of stress going on. So how would you help people like that? I mean, is there any way they can help themselves, or would they need to come to you to do the healing? Can they do it on themselves, or how would that work?
Well, there is something called the Wednesday night 8 p.m. clearing, and it's been going on for 10 years. It started in August of 2008. Every Wednesday, people all over the world, wherever it is 8 o'clock where you are, they tune in and they say, please, angels, God's angels, please connect me to the Terramai healers who are doing the clearings. And then they can work for as long as they want. They can meditate, they can pray, they can do whatever spiritual aspect they want for whatever they want. And since this has been going on for 10 years, there's actually a wave that's going around this planet. And so we can call upon angels of God, please connect us to the Wednesday night clearing wave and to the Terramai healers who are doing the clearings, healings, and prayers for abundance and love. So what I want you to do, and I want your viewers to do, is to breathe in the energies of abundance.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to ask white flames to blaze through the blockages and burn them to the ground. Keep breathing in prosperity, and prosperity is more than abundant and money. It is money, it's gold, but it's also so much more. It's respect, it's love, it's joy, it's fulfillment, it's success. And we're going to also call upon the September new moon, which brings success and opportunities. We're going to call upon these two energies, the energies of the September new moon, success and opportunities, and the Wednesday night clearing wave. And just feel the energies of the Wednesday night clearing wave coming through you, clearing away the blockages. Blockages in your body, blockages in your life. And like you said, lots of people are experiencing blocks right now, an inability to move forwards.
Yeah, there's a lot of that going on.
The energy,
a lot of people saying that.
The energies of the new age. What's it like to go into this golden age or new age? It's like an elevation of consciousness and an elevation of our DNA. Because Edgar Cayce saw us going into the golden age with whole, healthy, youthful bodies. And that's how it's going to be done. Our DNA is going to be elevated. So just you, Laurene, and your viewers, close your eyes and just feel inside your body. Feel your DNA elevating. Feel all the blockages being taken away. Feel the energies of the goddess, the healing energies of the goddess coming into you and through you. Feel doors of opportunity opening for you. Feel yourself, see yourself being in the right place at the right time. Take a deep breath and exhale. Just feel these blocks. Feel your sorrow, anger, and fears leaving. Just let them go. Give them to the angels. Feel them dropping away from you. And the light's coming into your crown and going down through you. I don't know if your viewers can see this, but I can see your aura on this side of your head. It's yellow and gold and white. So I don't know if this is coming through the camera or if I'm just seeing this. That may be interesting. You might ask your viewer what they're seeing.
My aura. Okay. Thank you. This is absolutely brilliant and very effective, for people who are watching, because it's interesting that we actually have gone to that level now to talk about the ascension and what's happening, because I feel that a lot of healers and a lot of light workers like myself, we're struggling because we feel that it's taking too long, and we keep seeing that things are going to change, and you keep hearing about the connection to alien forces and the ascension and, this reset where life is going to change, where it's going to be better, it's going to be more equal, where money's going to be, where everyone will have what they need. And yet it just doesn't seem to happen. It's like people are just keep hearing about this stuff. And I know a lot of light workers like myself say, yeah, we've heard it for 3 years now, 4 years. But we're getting to a point where things are really, really getting bad. The way the world, the system and the way the world is being run now, it's getting to such a level where we have to see some changes for people. Like we are humanitarians, and particularly what we can see what's happening with children. There's such awful stuff going on in our world that when you are a light worker, and I know there'll be people will be watching this will be light workers and humanitarians and healers. Some of them are doing really well and staying on that vibration. And some of them, like myself, keep being dragged down back into the third dimension, so to speak, where we haven't got the patience anymore. It's like, come on, show it to me already. I want to see the love. I want to feel it. So how do you feel about that? Do you, with your connection to the angels and to whatever you're in touch with, is it coming soon?
It is coming soon.
Everyone's asking when.
Well, it's coming to the point. I used to live in Arizona, and I was on the Hopi reservation, and I saw Prophecy Rock. And on it there is a stick figure of a man walking on the path, on the timeline. And then the timeline divides and goes in two different directions. One where there are dying people and dying plants, and the other where there's happy people and happy plants, and the steps keep going up. And people used to think that the world was going to go in one way or the other. No, this reality is going to split in half. This is going to be very unusual. And that's what the full moons and new moons for over a year. It's like the heavens have been saying, make a choice. It used to be that voodoo practitioners could do both healings and death spells. They can't anymore. They have to make a choice. Which side are you on?
Yes.
These the politicians serve special interests and supposedly the people. No, you've got to make a choice. You can't serve both. Who are you going to serve? Are you going to serve the people?
Sorry, they're going to be given a choice to go with the light, or if not, then they can't progress. I've heard that.
Well, we're making the choice now by our thoughts, our words, our deeds, our actions. We're actually casting our vote now which way we're going to go. Try to wait. I know that I've heard about people who want to wait till the last minute, who are really living in darkness. And I say, well, at the last minute, I'll get out of this and I'll ask to go to the light. No, it doesn't. It doesn't work that way. It's it just doesn't.
So how long is it going to, basically, do you know approximately, because you've got messages coming from, I don't know if you know about David Wilcock and Conscious Cosmos and stuff like that, where they're talking about that it's coming, that they're going to do this mass arrest of a whole lot of people, and then there's going to be a reset, probably for a few days, and then everything's going to change. And they need time to do that. Like they have to do it when these people don't know that they're going to do it, like a shock kind of thing. So, and then everything's going to change, and people need to have water and food and stuff like that for the ascension. So there's so many theories going around that there's so much confusion. I don't think anybody knows. And then you've got a whole of lots of society, like I'd say probably 98% of society, that are just stuck getting ready for Christmas. And they don't even care. They don't want anything to change. So how is this going to happen?
Well, even several decades ago, I told people, I said, by 2020, if either God's hand hasn't come in or we make an active effort to break away from fossil fuels and into renewable energies, that by 2020, there won't be an Earth. And you can see it with these, not only is Florence ravaging the Carolinas right now, but there's a typhoon in the South Sea that is ravaging, is about to, hit China. And these things are getting out of hand. And every year the storms get bigger and bigger and bigger because of global warming. The oceans get warmer, which feeds the hurricanes and the typhoons. The air is warming. It holds more water. And
so how are we going to save humanity? How are we going to save our planet?
We have to start with ourselves, and even to do simple things like recycling, just really simple things, praying, open our hearts. And I'm writing my 6th book right now. It's called Awakening the Spirit Within, the etherical cord between the heart chakra and solar plexus. And it's really tuning into this energy channel and connecting to the Spirit of God that is within us. Because within this cord, this is where we get our gut feelings. In the Bible, it says, God speaks to us without words. This is how God speaks to us, through gut feelings and inner knowing. Inner knowing does not happen in the head. It happens inside of us. And we have to start listening to that energy, that voice within us, our own connection to the divine. And when you can do that, you can kind of get above things and just get the feeling, you work and you work, and you get the feeling that everything's going to be okay. Then you remember that feeling. Like one time I was divorced and I had, a preteen kids, and I ended up getting this horse. And I was painting because I used to be represented by Wright Gallery in Chicago during the 1980s. And I'm painting this horse. And I just asked God, I said, do you really mean that for me to keep this horse? And I got the message, the horse is yours to keep. So every time things got bad, I would just remember that painting, and I just put myself in that situation where I knew that things were going to be okay. So that's what you want to do. Work with the Wednesday night clearing. Get to a point where you know inside yourself that things are going to be okay. And then when the world tries to crush you down, go back to that moment when you knew that everything was going to be okay.
Okay, so let's go back to the Wednesday healing. How can people join the Wednesday healing? Is there a website that you can pass on to them?
Yes, KathleenAnnMilner.com.
Sorry, can you say that again?
KathleenAnnMilner.com.
Kathleen N.
Ann. No, not Ann. Ann. Like Ann Boleyn, but without the E.
Okay.
KathleenAnnMilner.com.
Okay.
And then go to the blog page. And then all the posts are listed alphabetically. And I think that one is listed Worldwide Wednesday Night Clearing. And click on that.
We'll put a link on so people can go straight on it. And so they can join that. And every Wednesday evening, of course, we have the time differences.
No. It's 8 p.m. wherever you are.
Oh, okay.
That's why this wave was created, because at 8 p.m. is in the 24 time zones. And then if people cannot participate at the time when it's 8 p.m. in their time zone, they can always start at the top of any hour and say, okay, angels of God, please connect me to wherever the hour is 8 p.m. and the Terramai healers who are doing the clearings, and participate that way. So this huge wave, we can imagine 10 years, every Wednesday, huge wave of energy going around this planet.
That sounds fantastic. So because I will pass this on. This is very exciting. So basically you can go onto the link, which I'll post, and doesn't matter what country you're in, doesn't matter where you are, at 8 p.m. every Wednesday. You can go on there and connect to this massive source of healing that's coming from Kathleen. And where else is it coming from?
It's coming from all the people who are participating.
Right. So it's like a massive connection to all these healers all over the world. And basically, can you set an intention, say, for say this evening, I'd like to be able to set an intention to heal my abundance? Or do you get a choice to choose what you want to heal? Or is it just whatever, it's collective healing where everybody's doing the same type of healing around the same issues?
Well, that's one reason I think it's become so popular, is because there is no set agenda. You can pray, you can play Tibetan bowls, you can drum, you can meditate, you can do whatever you want to for yourself, for others, for the earth, for whoever you want. I do suggest that, some people really, really need to work on themselves, and that's fine. But if you have the energy to do something for Mother Earth, please do something. But, it's really up to each individual, and I think that's why it became so popular.
And I think as well, I have noticed over my existence that there is an intelligence that sometimes when we talk about timing, and when, say, someone is waiting for something to come, like a job,
right,
the universe will take care of what's more important. Even if I relate it back to myself, as I say, I got a job, and again, just to tell my viewers, because people have similar conditions, similar things are happening. I got offered a job nearly 4 weeks ago. But because of the way things are in England, you have to wait nearly 2 months now to be police checked. Now, the more I think about it, my job was supposed to start on a Thursday, and it's only 2 days a week. I was getting very upset about it. But then I found out about oxygen therapy for my exhaustion. Some people are recommending oxygen therapy, where you breathe in fresh, clean, pure oxygen into the body. And when I heard about the oxygen therapy, my intuition said to me, well, if you're going to have oxygen therapy, because I had my assessment, they said yes. If you're going to have oxygen therapy on Wednesday, you may need to rest on Thursday. Do you see what I mean? So maybe your body or your higher self is saying, I need 2 months to get well. And then everything will fall into place, so to speak. That's because if you could tap into your spiritual intuition, it will give you an answer. So I was able to get past my anger at not working to understand that maybe I'm meant to get well first before I could actually go out there. Because sometimes you're going to get healing crisis. If you can imagine the body being filled with healthy oxygen, after we've got chemtrails and we've got toxins and water and food, everything is full, we're full of toxins, the body, whatever we're eating. If you start pouring pure oxygen into your body is going to say, oh my God, I don't recognize this. And so it might go into a little bit of a healing crisis. It's quite normal, I'd say, So anyway, that's how I came to terms with the fact that this job is not happening yet. Because I thought, well, maybe you'll need to rest the next day. You'll need to drink more water. You won't be in a space to get in your car and drive and do a job, basically. So I think that's what I'm trying to say to a lot of people out there, is if you can do what Kathleen is saying to you, if you can do the healing, do your own healing and go inside, you will get your answers. And the universe, there is a timing thing here with healing. Like people are saying, I'm not getting the abundance, or I'm not getting this. Maybe there's something you need to sort out first that is stopping you. Do you see what I mean? So we're on the same wavelength with that.
Right.
I would have thought.
Well, let me just say one thing, that they can they can go to my website and read about the Wednesday night clearing. They don't have to be connected to my website to participate in it. So okay. I would definitely recommend that they go and they read about it first so that they know what they're getting into.
Okay.
And then another way to deal with that problem, and also it's in the same vein, like for instance, my marriage was so bad, and I just prayed to God that it would get better. And it got worse. So the next time I prayed to God, I said, I can only deduce that you want me out of this marriage.
Mm.
You're going to have to prepare a way because my husband's not going to like it if I ask him for a divorce. And I couldn't believe it. He bumped into this woman who, when they were in high school, she was a girl who was madly in love with him. And so he was started an affair, and he asked me for a divorce.
Well, there you go.
So then I asked God, I said, okay, God, now you're going to have to take care of me and my children. Because I hadn't graduated from college. I'd gotten married before I graduated. So then I had to go back to college, and you know, everything was always taken care of. I mean, I could work, but I mean, it was always taken care of. So that's another way to do it. Say, okay, God, show me where you want me. Or I surrender my whole life to you. Get me where you want me to be. And then listen to in here. And the more you listen and the more you act upon it, the smoother things go. And oftentimes these gut feelings are absolutely ridiculous. Our left brain goes, what the heck? You want us to do that? Are you serious? But when you take those steps and you actually work out what this gut, what your inner knowing is telling you, everything magically works out.
Sounds amazing. Mm. Yeah, I've heard people talk about that. As I say, there's a lot of people, when you talk about God, how would you describe your belief? What is God to you?
God to me is so big, so massive, so multidimensional, we cannot possibly comprehend. So that's why, you know, we like I said before, we think about God, God is both feminine and masculine. So we think about God and goddess. They're all part of this one being, God the creator, one being. The Jewish religion has different names for different aspects of the same God. I believe in Jesus. I do not believe he was the only son of God. As a matter of fact, the Dead Sea Scrolls that were written at the same time as the Gospels, he never claimed to be the only son of God. No. I believe that he is the avatar of the Piscean age, and I do believe in the second coming. I believe that he is coming, and he's coming very, very soon.
What does that mean?
Is
this what we're talking about, this ascension, where souls are going to ascend?
No, I don't believe that. I believe it's the ascension of our consciousness, the ascension of our DNA, where one path is going to go one way and the other path is going to go the other way.
Yeah. Okay.
So, but I believe that Jesus will physically walk this planet. Now, when I was a young Catholic student growing up, you know, they had in one of our readers, they showed Jesus coming back as a Catholic priest in the black tunic robes, cassock, I think.
Not with what's happening with the Catholic.
I thought, of all the things that he could come back as, this is not what he's going to come back at. So I don't know the date. I do not know what he's going to look like, or if it's a woman. I have no idea.
Okay.
Even the Bible says no one's going to know the exact day and time, but I do know it's close. I know it's going to happen, you know, on or shortly after 2020.
Okay. Yeah, there's a lot going on. There's a lot happening, and you know, people are questioning a lot of things, and there's lots. You know, everything's shifting all over the place. We can feel that. I'm not going to go into my belief system because it's about what we're talking about here is about yourself and your healing. And do you want to? Just going to have a quick break because I need to do an advert.
Okay.
Quick advert. Shouted from the rooftops that there is a service on our beautiful NHS that I'm so proud of, and we're all very proud to have. It's free, guys. And you know what, when I ask someone, do you know what a therapeutic community is, they'll go blank. Nobody knows it even exists. So I'm here to tell you that if you know anyone, one of your colleagues or your friends or your family or yourself, and they've given you that label, borderline personality disorder, be as lucky as I was and ask your doctor. They told me, because I wouldn't take medication. asked them, can I please try what Laurene tried?
The thoughts I have of you, you're always on my mind. Circling round my brain, it happens all the time. I close my eyes and a vision will appear. Wish that you were next to me, but you're no longer here. Wish we were together.
More about me in my amazing chapter with interviews from Casey that is going in the book, www.simplyamazingbook.com. Invite me to talk, to sing about this incredible recovery and the therapeutic community that is free on the NHS.
The thoughts I have of you, you're always on my mind. Circling round my brain, it happens all the time. I close my eyes and a vision will appear. Wish that you were next to me, but you're no longer here. Wish we were together, not all alone. Wish we were together, not all alone. The anger you display, I really cannot take. Want to break the barriers that you and I would make. There'll always be a part of you down deep inside.
Back. So welcome to Moving On TV, and today I've got Kathleen Milner, and on the book show, Kathleen has released 6 books, is that right?
5 books, and I'm working on actually 6 and 7 at the same time.
Wow, you're working on the 6th and the 7th at the same time.
Right.
Okay. I tried to write one book. I wrote one book with my father before he died. We wrote it together, and but I've always meant to write another one about my life and my spirit and what's happening to me. But to actually write 2 books at the same time, or anyway, can you tell us a little bit about the books you've written, what they're called and what they're about?
Well, my first book was Reiki and Other Ways of Touch Healing, and it was basically about things that we've been talking about how I got to where I am, different things, different methods of healing, and there's more than Reiki, because when Takata, she changed the initiations before she came to the mainland of the United States. And what she did is, there's a symbol called Seiheki that most people are familiar with. She cut that in half. She cut it in half. And when she cut it in half, more than half of the energy was gone. It was almost like those initiations started bleeding out their healing energy. And I can prove it, because in the beginning, she was able to do all these incredible healings. And towards the end of her life, she wasn't doing any healings at all. Whereas for me, the healing energy just keeps getting stronger and stronger all the time.
Okay. So what's this book called that you're talking about?
Well, that's Reiki and Other Ways of Touch Healing, but that's before I knew about the double Seiheki. So I'm writing another one now, and it's called Awakening the Spirit Within, the ethereal cord between our heart chakra and our solar plexus. And I'll put in things about the double Seiheki and things that I've learned since I've written that. I wrote another book called Terra, My Journey Home, where I talk more about the elemental healing rays of earth, air, fire, and water. In Awakening the Spirit Within, I'll talk more about the 5th element, ether. The other book I'm working on right now is called After the Winding Sheet. And the winding sheet is the shroud that the body is wrapped up in. So it's like, what happens after death? What goes on? And it's a story. It's a novel. It follows 4 girls, their family history, and and all these people are dead, but somehow life goes on, and you don't think about death. When you're young, you don't think you're going to die. You think that's for somebody else. So,
okay. can I just stop you there?
Sure.
After the winding sheet, is that what you said? Okay, so is this a fiction?
Yes.
It's basically a novel that you're writing. So,
Right.
because if you're saying that you're talking about what happens after death, then you need to have had an experience that explains it to you. So do you feel that you know what happens after death?
I have had a near-death experience where I died. That was when I was 9 months old, and it must have, even though I don't remember that, it's something that stayed with me. I also had this inner knowing where this ball came into me, and I knew I had lived before, and it came in like a novel of this woman's life. I had just finished watching The 6 Lives of Henry VIII. It was an old PBS program. This was a long ways ago. This was like 30 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And no one liked Anne Boleyn. And the announcer said that nobody cried when she died. I didn't like Anne Boleyn. All of a sudden, I'm making my bed, minding my own business, and I get hit. It was like somebody punched me in the stomach. And there wasn't any pain, but like it was like a book was shoved into me. And I knew all about her life. I knew that she didn't want to marry Henry. Henry reminded her too much of her brother who had raped her when she was a young girl.
Right. So basically you're looking at it from the point of view of Anne Boleyn.
Anne Boleyn, yes. So
Yeah.
I know. I know that lifetime. I know, what death is. I know that what happens after death. And also
When you know, how do you know?
In here. In here. And this is what we've got to develop, is this in here.
Mm.
And I've seen spirit. One of my cats had to be put down, and I could see her soul rising up out of the top of her head.
Mm.
She stopped for a minute to thank me, and then she went on.
Mm.
I saw my horse. He had Abez when he was put down. I saw him after he died. I know that personality survives death. I've seen ghosts, and sometimes
yes. Is this all in the book? Are all these experiences going in the book?
Yes, all these are going into the new book. Different things that I've seen. I did talk about Anne Boleyn in my other books. I did write 2 novels, but unfortunately, the people that I had edit them, they did a terrible job of proofreading. Absolutely terrible. They're an embarrassment. So what one was Richard III, White Boar, and the other one was Between the Worlds, about Henry and Anne. But again, I don't know where these people's heads were. I think they got, and they're supposed to be professional proofreaders.
Right.
And they're embarrassments. So I thought I would like to write a book and do it right, have somebody, proofread it. Because back then when I was writing, I couldn't proofread my own material. And now I'm getting better at doing it, so I can do it. I can hand it off to somebody else who can even further comb through it. But I mean, they're embarrassing. So that's why I'm doing another short novel, so it can be done right.
Okay, because you did mention, so one of these experiences was when you saw a ghost when you were in the UK.
I did.
You want to talk about that?
Sometimes I see spirit or ghosts with my physical eyes. And my friend Corinna Hall and I, we had just gone to Kensington Castle to see Princess Di's dress display that was up at the time. And as we're coming back, she said, "Do you mind if we stop at my brother's house?" And of course not. So we stopped at her brother's, and they answered the door. They were really glad to see us both. And she had told me before we got there that her sister-in-law had several miscarriages before she finally gave birth to the twins. So there is a girl sitting on the steps. So I'm assuming this is one of the twins. And she looks at me, and all of a sudden, her eyes light up, and she smiles back at me. I'm talking to these people. 2 more girls come down. So I realized that after she had the twins, she probably had this other daughter, right? So we're all talking, everything's going fine. And at the end of the night, I'm saying goodbye to everyone. I said goodbye to the twins. And I said, I realized, I said, where's your other daughter? And they said, what other daughter?
Oh, God.
And I hadn't been asked to do a reading. I don't like imposing myself on people. So on the way home, I told Corinna, I said, I think that the girl that I saw on the steps, the first girl, I think that this was the spirit of one of the miscarriages that your sister-in-law had. And Corinna said, well, she should have been older. And I explained, well, when a newborn dies or when there's a miscarriage or an abortion, that soul that's been traveling with the mother has a choice. They can stay with the family in spirit and grow. They can hang around and wait for the mother to get pregnant again, or they can go off and find, another mother, or they can return to heaven's light. And this girl obviously decided, she needed to stay as a young girl. That was her choice. The aging does not happen in the spiritual realms like it does on the physical plane. So sometimes you can see ghosts and you don't even know that you're seeing them.
Sure. I mean, I lost a sibling. I lost my brother in the womb, and it took me a long time to know this. It's a long story, and it's part of my own recovery, a lot of my codependency. But I realized that I had a sibling, definitely had a brother, and he died when we were still fetuses. And yet, I've had a lot of grief around it, and it did affect my life in a big way. Again, I'm not going to go into too much of that, but I do know, how these things can happen as well. And I think he just went back. I'm not sure, he could have reincarnated as the friend who helped me figure it all out, because we're very close. And when she went away, so this is really, really exciting and fascinating. So if people want to get your books, where are they available?
Amazon.com.
Okay. So they can find your books. Again, could you just tell us each name of each book separately? So
Okay.
there's a quick summary of each book.
There's Reiki and Other Rays of Touch Healing, which lays the foundation for Terramai Reiki, where it came from, how it came about, different, hands-on healing techniques, how to use symbols. Terramai Journey Home talks about all four elements, earth, air, fire, and water, and the healing element component that is within each of these energies. And also talks about a lifetime that I had as Rembrandt's daughter. Not Rembrandt, but Rembrandt's daughter, illegitimate daughter, but a lifetime to lead in the 16th century as your legitimate child. But anyway, becoming a shaman, it's never too late to be who you might have been. Goes through the shamanic class that I teach, and there are exercises in there that people can do. The novels are Between Two Worlds, the story of Henry VIII and Anne Boleyn, and Richard III, White Boar. But again, the proofreader fell off the wagon. I don't know what happened, or she got on the wagon. I don't know, but they are truly embarrassments, so I wouldn't recommend those. And then the ones I'm working on now are the novel After the Winding Sheet, and to expand upon tuning into our healing energies and our own spiritual force within us, awakening the spirit within, the ethereal cord between our heart chakra and solar plexus. And then I've written 3 completed feature scripts, Angels and Shadows, Flawed, and After the Winding Sheet.
That's lovely. Thank you so much, Kathleen. So we've now heard a lot about the different books that you can purchase. We also know about the Wednesday meditation, which I'm just going to add on here because this was we recorded for a different program. But basically, every Wednesday, you can tune into Kathleen's website. I will put the link, and you can tune in and connect to healers from all over the world every Wednesday at 8 p.m. It doesn't matter what country you're in, it will fit. And that way you can be part of a massive connection of healers that are sending out healing to our planet and healing to each other, but most of all to heal yourself from within. So just before we go, Kathleen, is there anything you would like to pass on to our viewers that you feel is really important for them to know?
Well, let me just say that if anybody wants a private session with me, they can contact me at kathleen.milner@earthlink.net, and we can arrange a time and a day for you to call. If you send me a list of times and days. If you want a reading, all I want to know is the question. I don't want all this background information. It gets in the way. It muddies my brain.
So you do readings as well?
I do.
Medium readings. Okay, so people can contact you. Thank you for that. People can contact you and have the healing either physical if they're near you, or by Skype, I presume, or like, you know, by Zoom. So people can get healing from all over the world, distant healing from you.
Right.
They can get a reading. Is that right?
Right.
Okay, and just a question, because moving on TV is for people, a lot of people out there that don't have a lot of money. I try to make sure that, you know, I always ask these questions because a lot of people that are going through a lot, they don't have a lot. Do you do any kind of swap or bartering, or do you do concessions for people? How does it work?
I do it on a donations are accepted basis. So people who can't afford anything at all can simply go to a church, light a candle, and pray for me. People who can give more, I mean, the most I got was $10,000 from a man who got his back healed. So the common donation is $100 to $250, but really, I mean, I do it on a donations are accepted basis, you know, so that people who really are down and out, who have this temporary cash flow, I think it would be very, very sad to say I could not afford a healing. I mean,
so would they do something like, you know, as I said, you would do some kind of swap or bartering with them, so that way they can have the healing?
They could, accept that, you know, oftentimes people live in other countries, so that swapping isn't you know, easy. So they can make a minimum donation through PayPal.
Right. What's the least donation that you would accept from someone?
I would accept any. I do it on a donations are accepted. Whatever people feel that the healing was worth and what they could afford, you know, that's what they should give.
Yeah, because do you feel that when people do that, do you feel that then when you work with them, they can actually improve their financial situation?
Right. We work on blockages to get the blockages out of the way, because there are demonic forces. They really exist, and they're trying to stop us.
Yeah, we can see them.
They're trying to stop us. They're trying to, you know, stop abundance from coming to us, because that's our energy. And so, yes, these blockages can be cleared. I also have a Facebook page called Terramai Healing Network DC, as in Washington, DC. And they can look on that, and if they click on my photo and my name at the top, there's a whole list of healing, clearing videos that I've recorded, and people are being cleared and healed through those.
Just by watching the videos? Just
by tuning in. I think becoming a little bit active, because the people who are really active, you know, are releasing their anger, their fear, their sorrows. They're letting this stuff come up. They're letting these mental torture chambers go. They're giving it to the angels.
Can you spell the Facebook page?
Okay, it's TERAMAI Healing Network DC/Facebook.
Okay. So if people put that into Facebook, they'll be able to find you that way. Because as I said, there's a lot of people out there that can't get money to flow, you know, and they just don't know what to do, and they're struggling so much. And it would be nice to know that they can get out of that some way, because a lot of people, unfortunately, a lot of healing is expensive. And, you know, a lot of these things are expensive, so people can't. But that's what I try to do moving on TV, is to pass on the message to everyone, particularly to people that don't have much. So I think it's very important to do that. Well, thank you so much, Kathleen. That's wonderful. I'm really glad to be able to pass on this message. And I hope that you have a beautiful rest of the day. As here it's getting closer and closer tonight here in the UK. And hopefully we'll get a lot of people joining you on the Wednesday meditation, connecting and helping making the planet a better place.
Right, and it's free. What better thing can you ask for? It's free. You can do
wonderful
whatever you want.
And hopefully some people will be able to get your books. So thank you so much. And I look forward to speaking to you soon. So take care. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on Moving On TV. And obviously, if you have a story or a unique story or a book that you're releasing or anything, then please contact me at Laurene, Laurene, at movingontv.uk. And we'll get you on here and help you get your story, your uniqueness out there. So take care now. Have a beautiful day. Namaste. Bye.